Okay, this is Junior High Math, Chapter 5. Alright, Chapter 5 covers several things in it, but mostly it's just dealing with fractions. The first couple of sections of Chapter 5 deals with adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing fractions. Now, when you add a fraction or subtract a fraction, the most important thing is that you must get a common denominator. So an example would be a fraction like 4 and 5/11ths minus 2 and 6/11ths. Okay? If in this problem, the good thing is it has common denominators, but I'll show you real quick how to first of all convert a mixed number to an improper fraction. You would say 11 times 4 is 44 plus 5 is 49, and then put that over 11. Minus 11 times 2 is 22. 22 plus 6, 28 over 11. Alright, so my answer, the denominator of my answer is going to be 11. Since it's a common denominator, I don't have to do anything to it. Now I'm just going to say 49 minus 28, which will give me 21. Okay, now I'm going to change the improper fraction to a mixed number. 11 will go into 21 one time, leaves me a remainder of 10 over 11. So my answer is 1 and 10/11ths. Okay, that was easy. Let's try something where you have to mess with the denominator. Let's say if we had 2/3 plus 3/5. Now on this one, I've got to first off get my denominator similar or common. They're not in common. You can't add that. So my common denominator that I'm going to choose between 3 and 5 is 15. So I've got to multiply this times 5, and whatever I do to the denominator, I do to the numerator. This times 3, and this times 3. So the result is I have a fraction of 10 over 15 plus 9 over 15, which gives me 19/15ths, which I then change into a mixed number and get 1 and 4/15ths, and can't reduce 4/15ths. And so that's my answer there. Alright, now, if I were to, let's say I had a fraction that's say 2/3 divided by 1/3. Okay? Dividing 2/3 by 1/3. Alright? What you do is you don't mess with the first fraction. So it's just going to be 2/3. You don't divide, you multiply, and you reciprocate or flip the second fraction. So 1/3 becomes 3 over 1. Okay? Multiplying, I'm going to cross multiply between the 3's, and I'm left with a 1 and a 1. So I get 2 over 1. My answer is then 2. So multiplying or dividing fractions, you always can check to see if you can cross multiply. When you divide, switch the second fraction, flip it, and then you just multiply. Adding, subtracting fractions, you must have a common denominator. Okay, now, the other part of Chapter 5 deals with converting decimals. Okay, if I have a decimal, let's say for instance, 0.032, and I'm told to convert that to a fraction, all I do is I take 32 and I put that over whatever, in this situation, this would be in the thousandths place, so I would put that over 1,000. If it was 2/10ths, I would put 2 over 10. If it was 0.02, I would put 2 over 100. And then in the end, what you should always do with a fraction is check to see if you can reduce. This would reduce to, I can reduce by 4. 32 divided by, well, make it reduce by more than 4. Let's see, let me get my calculator. 32 over 100, over 1,000. Won't work that way. Okay, I can reduce by 8. If I reduce 32 by 8, I would get 4. And 1,000 reduced by 8, I would get 125. So the answer to that one would be 4 over 125. This one would reduce to 1/5, and this one would reduce to 1/50. So always reduce if you can on the decimals. Now, if those were the two major parts, the last part were mean, median, and mode. All right, just remember when you have a set of data, we're talking about mean, median, mode, and then we'll find the range. All right, if the data were, say, 3, 8, 3, 11, 10, and 12. Just throwing some numbers out there. First thing we always need to do, I'll change color pens on this, is to reorder the data so that it is going from least to greatest. So I would reorder it, and it would be 3, 3, 8, 10, 11, and 12. That's reordered. Okay, the mean is just the average. So I'm going to add all of those up. So I'm going to say, and I'll show you on my calculator. We're going to say 3 plus 8 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12. And that's going to equal 47. Now I'm going to divide 47 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to divide it by 6, and I get 7.83. Let's just say 7.8. So the average of those numbers is 7.8. The median would be, I'm just going to work my way in. All right, so 8 and 10 are my two numbers in. I'm going to average 8 and 10, add them together, get 18, divided by 2. Median is 9. Mode is the number that occurs the most. 3 in this situation occurs more than once, so that is my mode. You can have one mode. In this situation, our mode is 3. You can have several or multiple modes, or you can have no mode if none of the data repeats. To find the range, you take the highest number in your data. In this situation is 12. Take the difference between it and our lowest number, and our range is 9. Range is always going to be a positive number because you're looking at the distance between the extreme or the upper highest number in our mode, highest number in our data, and the lowest number in our data, and we get 9. The last section of, or the other part of this chapter dealt with adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing decimals, in which you'll use your calculators for those. You shouldn't have any problems there, but the major thing is don't forget when you're adding or subtracting fractions, you need a common denominator. If you're multiplying, if you're dividing fractions, flip the second fraction and multiply. And if you're multiplying, just look to see if you can cross multiply. Make sure that you always reduce your fractions to lowest terms, or if it's an improper fraction, you want to change it to a mixed number. All right, that's chapter 5. Good luck.